Hello.
Hello.
Yes, it's incredibly delayed, but I am here. And I have a whopping spot right there, and I've just seen it. That's nice. But hello and welcome to the second episode of the Daniel Pyke POGcast. We've made it to episode 2, everybody. Later than usual. I was gonna try and make it every 5 days, but all of a sudden it's now turned weekly because I did the last one on a Sunday. I'm doing this one on a Sunday. I want your guys' input. I did originally want to do it every 5 days, but if we want to like pick a time on Sunday that I just go live, rather than I've just got a text message. How nice is that? That we're gonna go live. Yeah, that would work. Because I'll be honest. I just finished online schooling on Friday. More on that later. And it was three. I've just finished at 3 o'clock, handing in all my work. Blah 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 blah. I've just sat through 6 hours. Of doing something, not doing something, doing something, doing a bit more. Break where I have 30 minutes to eat and do anything with my life. So 30 minutes. It's fine for a podcast. But not 30 minutes. Oh, and then I'm going to take a 2-hour break. Oh, and then I'm going to do another 30 minutes. Oh, and then I'm going to do the next hour because that's not how podcasts work. If you're unaware, but so I couldn't do it on the Friday unless I did it after 3 o'clock, and at that point I was absolutely shattered. I've just had 2 weeks off eating and eating and eating at Christmas time, and all of a sudden I've just had 2 full days of work, which I've never done before. I haven't set up my light. Hang on. But how was your first week of online schooling? Unless you weren't being schooled, because that'd be a bit weird. But yeah, how was it? For me, if I had to describe it in 3 words, it would be worse than expected. Because I quite liked lockdown last time, because it just meant we had time to do all of this, blah 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 blah. But now it's a bit like, oh, we're on a time schedule. I can't make my own stuff. I'm being forced what to do again. But this time, I have so many incentives not to do it. Yet I still have to do it. That is bright. Hello! Wow, that has pulled that out more. I really want to... Should I pop that on stream? That'd be cool. Hang on. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. By the way. This is my Minecraft world in the back, if you can see that. Give you a good little view of that. Ta-da! It ain't much, but it's honest work. I don't know if you can even hear me, I'll be honest. That spot is going to bug me the entire way through this podcast. But it's not like I've just put something white so that you can see it even more. I'm going to go and put that I'm live streaming on my story so we can maybe get a bit more viewers. And then we'll get straight into today's first topic, which is... well, there's a lot to talk about in the past week. Stuff's happened. Online schooling's happened. Call Me Carson happened. Liverpool played twice. Brentford played once. We were meant to play twice, but obviously COVID, Divock, backwards. Live on YouTube, link in bio for my podcast. Ta-da! Also, can everyone hear me and see me all right? I know the audio is a bit out of time. I just saw that, but if everything is just completely fine, check me out. I've got my Morrison's Diet Cola again. This is my first Morrison's Diet Cola since the last episode because I ran out, and then I decided I was going to have a break, and then I decided, look, I need some drink to get me through this next hour and a bit. So, yeah. Right, let me get my script out. Last time I did my script on paper. This time I've just got it on my phone. Oh yes. There is, if you go on my Instagram, which is danielpyke.jpg, I'm gonna put it in the chat for anyone who doesn't follow my Instagram. I've put questions. I've put one of those question things so you can ask me questions in the chat box. Yeah. And I'm gonna put this on my Instagram. Ow, sorry about that. I'm gonna put it on my not that hand. I'm gonna put it on my Snapchat. live for my second episode of my podcast. YouTube equals Daniel Pyke. And there we go. So, you can ask questions in the chat. Hello. You can ask questions in the chat. You can ask questions on the chat box I've got on Instagram. I'm going to keep that publicly refreshing every 5 or so minutes, see if any new questions come in. You can do pretty much anything. Hello to the 2 new people in the chat. How are you this Sunday afternoon? Me, I woke up about 10:40, stayed in bed until about 11:30, hopped on the craft, and had a shower. That's why I feel like my hair is wet in every new video I do, because I'm like, oh, I'll have a shower, that'll get me ready. And then my hair's always wet. So this is the first time that I've got dressed in literally ages. I've got my Liam Payne hamburger t-shirt on right now, for the culture. Let's get straight into the first topic. So I've done talk about questions and how you can submit them. I'll tell you that one more time so we can get some questions coming in. You can ask questions in the chat, or you can ask questions on my Instagram. I'll put it in the live chat if you on the right there, or down below if you're watching it like that, or it could be here because you could be watching it on mobile. So whichever way you're watching it, put some questions in. Let's get some one-to-one talks going. I want to spread out with you. All right, okay, so our first thing on the questions is lol, Brentford, and then a word I'm not allowed to say because I want my relatives to watch this podcast. This is from a Reading fan. So we're playing you next. A couple of weeks after we beat you. What was it? What was it? 3-1? Was it 3-1 we beat you when you were higher than us in the table and haven't been since? Something tells me it might have been. Hang on, let me just double check that. Yeah, it was 3-1 when we played you. And yeah, so we're doing this in the table at the moment. Tough time to be a Reading fan. No, I'm joking. It's a good season for Reading. Even if they don't get promoted or even get the playoffs, it'll be good considering how subpar they've been for the past 4 seasons. Remember in 2013 when Reading were an established, well, not established, but they were a Premier League Championship level club. That was weird. That was funny, and now they're not. Do you think we can get promoted this season? Yes, I do. I think the way we're playing, the unbeaten run that is still going in the league, that is exquisite. I think it's not as exciting football as we played last season, but I reckon that Ivan can take us to the Premier League, hopefully at least. I'd like to get promoted automatically. I wouldn't like to be promoted through the playoffs. I can't go through that again. I honestly cannot. But my screen keeps freezing. What is up with this internet? What I'm going to quickly do is turn off my Minecraft to see if I can get a better connection, because I'm the only one using my internet apart from that, because both my parents are out. So I'm going to try and do that quickly. So that will probably be it. Should doctors be paid more than athletes? I think doctors should be paid more. Yeah, very good. I think doctors should be paid more than they are being paid now. But to compare doctors to athletes, with the pay scale is very odd, because you'd expect that doctors should be paid more than athletes. But if you pay doctors more, how do I say this? There are probably more doctors than athletes, or they're. Oh my god! Will you stop freezing? This is annoying. I read something about the fact that doctor percentage of pay compared to everyone else's is more average, and that's where I think it's wrong. So I think athletes shouldn't be paid as much, but you can't just. I'd rather dock the athletes' pay than up the doctors' pay, because then it just means the government pay less money, we pay less tax, doctors and athletes pay less tax, if that makes sense. And also, what you don't get is doctors will pay less tax than athletes, who will have to pay more tax, or will try and get out of paying more tax. So it's all even. Doctors will be paid more, but will have to pay less because they get less tax. So, and if you can't just dock an athlete's pay by like 100,000 a week, like for the big players, because that would be outrageous. There'd be outrage from them. So that's what I think. That's a common misconception, I believe. But obviously, yes, I think doctors should be paid more themselves and pay less tax, because they're what's it called? They're is it what's the phrase that everyone's using? Care worker, mainstream, care stream, care worker. I think it might be care worker. There's a phrase that's going around everyone in COVID that only people whose parents you must stay at home unless you are a care worker, I think is the phrase. Yeah. Is the Olympic Games idea exhausted? Look, I'll be honest, I haven't taken quite a fondness to the Olympic Games ever. I like it. I'll watch it from time to time, but I'll never sit down and watch all of it. Like, I'll be honest. I like it's like this. I like watching football, but I wouldn't watch football. Yeah, key worker, not care worker. I wouldn't watch football and then another football match and then another football match and then another football match and then another football match. My granddad, he loves athletics, and I just cannot get into it. I watch one race, yeah, that's fine. I watch someone with the English, if there's a really well-known English person in it, and it's just their race. But if it's in a nice way, it is just people running around a track, and also people doing discus and people doing jump high. What's it called? High jump. High jump high. But what I do like about the Olympics is that it includes loads of different sports, like football's in there, tennis. I want to say tennis. But there are sports in there that won't normally get included in athletics, and that's why I do like it. And I like the Mario and Sonic games that come out of it. So no, I don't think the game is being exhausted. Isn't tug of war going to be in it for the first time ever this year? That's something. Or next. Oh no, it would be this year because it's the 2021 Olympic Games technically, because obviously 2020 was called off. So that's my views on the Olympics. I think it's absolutely sound, but I wouldn't watch it for more than 20 minutes at a time. Do sports parents bring more harm than good? Sports parents. Now I'm going to take sports parents as parents who get their child to do sports or train their child to do sports, like Project Mbappe and stuff like that. And no, I think that's fine. I think you can make your child, you can what's it called? Not force. You can move your child towards a path that you want them to grow up in, and that's completely fine. If you want them to go into banking, you talk about no, I wouldn't say sports parents are like Karen, because he says bring more harm than good, and I think what good do Karens bring in a nice way? But yeah, sports parents. I'm just going to take that as people who drag their kids towards sport like Project Mbappe and stuff like that. And I'd say they're completely fine. They don't bring more harm than good, because if their child ever says they want to stop and you don't stop them, that's where it's wrong. Because if they want to do it, then they can go ahead and do it. But if they don't want to do it, you don't force them, because yeah, they're your kid, but that's still, if they don't want to do it, that's their right. It's their right not to do it. So that's my view on it. What's your view, everybody? I need a co-host. I've been told this a couple of times now, and I completely agree. The only problem is, I don't know if you realise, but there's this little thing going around at the moment, and it's called coronavirus. Yeah. That is stopping me from getting a permanent co-host, getting like a big desk set up, stuff like that. But also, I don't know how to set up Zoom and then go live on Zoom, if that's even a thing. Which I don't think it is. In which case, how would I talk to someone on a live who's also right next to me on this live? I don't think there's anything here that. Oh no, that's just to share my stream. Do. So I'd say, yes, I would like a podcast. What? Yes, I would like a podcast host. Let me change this. Everyone, I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. This is number 1. This is number 2. Hello, I am number 2. This is the number 3. Hello, number 3. And this is number 4. This is number 4. So can you guys give me 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which one is the best for producing sound? Because they all help to do different things. So just see 1, 2, 3, or 4. Hit me. Thirsty. It's very dark outside today, which isn't great. But the light is still giving me light. But yeah, if you want to be my co-host, you need to be this. Talkative, but not too talkative that you overtake me. Nice to have a person friend with. Can you make me a mod? I don't know how to do that. You have to be sort of my friend, or someone who I can talk to and laugh with. So like, I don't want someone who I don't even know to be my podcast host. And you need to not have all the exact same qualities as me, because that wouldn't work. Woohoo! And you need to have time on your hands. Because if you don't have time on your hands and you have to go halfway through the podcast, that's not very good. That is not very good. That is a big stinker, because eventually, when we get out of lockdown and I can do this in a more confined experiment, when we can get people in and sit them down on a table, you can't just be going off halfway through because your mum wants you back, you know. I just had to burp, pardon me. But yeah, I do get that I need a co-host, and I'll be honest, I've been told that more than anything. Can you stop? I love this microphone, I really do, but it moves far too quickly for my liking. Let's just tighten those screws. Cheltenham versus Mansfield Town lineups are available. I'm sorry about all that noise of the me touching the mic. Because if I touch the mic, it makes this deafening sound. Look. It's just weird, or I don't know if it makes a noise on this thing, but it's just a teeny tiny bit strange. I've been asked a couple of times whether the podcast is going on Spotify, and the answer is yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is. It is, because, but there has been some annoyance in this. In me trying to get it on Spotify, which involves it not wanting to go on Spotify. I've tried so many different websites, so many different apps, and it's not letting me work. And the closest I've got is this thing called SoundRiz, RIIZ, and it was where you can import sounds onto Spotify, and I was like, oh, this will work perfectly. And I got it linked to my YouTube, I got it linked to my Spotify, I put it on, and then it just linked it to the thing that's closest to the name. So it just came up with this random guy just singing a song whose name was Daniel Pine. That's not what I asked. I thought you said that you could import tracks. Not Look, if I wanted to import one of the songs from my YouTube, I just type in the name of the YouTube song, surely. Would I not? That was my thought behind it. What a useless app. I'm gonna Shamiz, or whatever your name is, Shamiz, or song is, you're a disgrace. You're a cheat. I hope I get relegated. So I tried that, and that didn't work. And then I tried this website where you needed to make your website podcast, and I did that, and I set everything up. I set pretty much everything up apart from the fact that you needed to put the podcast on there. And I was just like, okay, I'll just extract the audio file like it's asked me to, save it to an MP3, and attach it to the podcast. And I did. But it was 1 second long. And I was like, maybe that's because the video hasn't fully processed, and it hadn't at the time. So I was like, I'll give it a day. I ended up giving it 2 days just to be safe. And then I'll go back on it. And it kept getting stuck on 100%, and then going, an error occurred. And it's like, oh my God, do you know how annoying this is to do? Because I've just signed up, I've just got all of these, I've put in all my details, and 3 things now have not worked. How? And people are like, oh, when's it going on Spotify? It's not at the moment because everyone's being a not nice guy. I just want to get it on a thing. Why is it so hard to convert a YouTube stream, which is streamed live and is the perfect time for podcast and has the word podcast in it, that I have now extracted the sound from, put it on a podcast? One, why is it 1 second long? One, and two, why does it not work? Why does it not work? What have I done wrong? Like, I must be doing something wrong, and no websites are helping me. I'm having to do this all on my own accord. It's so frustrating, especially when the Wi-Fi is so slow and it takes 20 minutes to do it. It's just annoying. By the way, you know when you this is going to be really weird. You know when you're in a swimming pool and then water goes up your nose? That's how my nose feels today, and I don't know why. And I really don't want to sniff straight into the microphone, but I feel like I need to at some point just to clear my nasals. Let's go back to some of these Instagram questions, see if we have any more of them. I'm gonna guess no, and no, we have not. So we are going to go on to let's talk about things we all did in primary school. Now, this is one, I want this to be one of the biggest topics of the thing. I want to talk to this for quite a while. I'm going to look up things we all did in primary school 2010s, because I don't want to know what you all did in primary schools in the 1970s, I'll be honest. Also, put in the chat if you did anything. I've just gone on a BuzzFeed little things. Okay, let's just go first. Who remembers B-bots? Yeah? I don't know why I'm holding them like that, because they were like this big. They'd move along the you'd have to find a number or something. I can't remember exactly how they worked, but you'd have to find a number or something, and you'd put it on, and you'd get this like electronic little bee, and then you'd move it along this mat, and it was so sick. But you didn't do it after like year 2, but you'd just stare at this bee bot, and you'd eyes on the bee bot, all the time, wondering if one day you might get it out, and you just never did. And then one day you'll be handing someone a register, and you'll go into the year 2 area, and it'll be a B bot, and you'll be like, oh no, 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 you used to be sick. Why can't we just do it now? Like, why don't we make it, but instead of it's what's 4 plus 4, why can't we make it like what's the square root of 64 plus the square root of 12? I know the square root of 12 is like, oh, let's work this out, shall we? Right, 4, it'll be 2 root 3, surely. Hey Siri, what is root 12? Two root 3. Ha! I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. But that would be that would have been very, very sick. And another thing that we all did in primary school, do you remember the apparatus that we would use like once every year? It was this massive climbing frame, yeah, so sick. You could work on your core, you could work on your strength, you can work on your fitness, you can work on the monkey bars. It had a monkey bar bit on it, but no, we went out and did rounders in the cold. Fam, you've got this massive like climbing frame, yeah, and we're playing rounders or dodgeball. Also, no one likes dodgeball unless you're strong, yeah. If you can, if you can lob a ball at the weaker kids, you like dodgeball. If you are everyone else, you hate dodgeball because you're just getting a ball chucked at you. Who invented dodgeball and who decided to put it in the children's thing? Yeah, this is a cool sport. You're gonna have to try and avoid just these rock hard balls. We're just gonna lob them at you. They're this big. Yeah, they hurt so much when they whack against your leg or your ankle or your knee, and we're just gonna, overarm chuck them at you. Here, that's a fun game. You are a danger to humanity, the guy in the office should have said. Not, that sounds like a class idea to implement in primary schools. We're trying to let their bones grow. Um, let's grow their bones by lobbing balls at them in a completely non-weird way. Um, um, if I was that person right there, okay, let's pick this out. It is the 1970s. Yeah, I am a primary school teacher. Um, and I decide what new sports are going to be entering the curriculum for the next 50 years. Okay. Hello, it is I, Charles, from the um school of the 1970s. What is your name? My name is Christopher Dodge, and I'm here to talk to you about a brand new gaming or game or piece of curricular activity that we can add to the wonderful physical education scheme that you are already running. Wow, yeah, I am all ears, and not because it is the 1970s. I don't know what that means. So picture this. We're gonna lob these rock hard balls at some of your little kids. Wow. So you are a pedophile, hey? What? No, 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 I mean like soft, like like footballs, but they're really soft. Almost like netballs, but they're made out of foam. For the when you're in primary school. And then until the end where they become like rubber, then you throw them. That is what I reckon. And because it's the 1970s, foam is probably really hard to come across. So we are gonna use rubber balls, and we're literally gonna lob them at your children. I see. I see. You are a wrong un. Yeah, get out of my office and go back to listening to the Beatles. And that is why I am sad. The only good thing about dodgeball is the film. Yeah, the film is hilarious. The sport, I use this lightly, is not hilarious. Yeah, and it's not fun unless you are big brute or a dodgeball machine, like one of those like shoots when the ball pops out of it. Let's see. I love dodgeball. I don't. I like dodgeball when you kick the ball without being caught. Lol. That's funny, actually. I love. It's like in basketball when you can't be asked to play basketball, so you just start kicking it. Oh, do you remember those things that you used to tell the time on? A clock. But it was yellow, and you would have a red stick and another red stick, and you'd be asked, like, oh, what is 7:45? And then you'd have to move it 7, and then you got to put it 3/4 of the way, and then you got to put the little bit on the 9. How cool were they? Yeah, especially when you'd say, like, oh, what's 7:45? And everyone would put 8 and then a 45, and then you're there. No, it's 7, but it's a bit way through 7, and then it's 45, and then they'd go, no, 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 yes, and that was better, yeah, that was better than hearing that you've got golden time in the end of year 2. Golden time was awesome for the first part, and then you started just getting used to it. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, it's just an extra break. Keep in mind, in year 2, I had 3 breaks already. I had an 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and then an hour. What? Imagine if we got an hour and 45 minutes in school right now for breaks. Yeah? We get an hour itself. So one of our breaks, our lunch break in primary school, is equal to both of our breaks in secondary school. That is unfair. And when I heard about it, when I first joined back in year 7, back in 2017, I want to say, or 2016. No, it was 27. No, it was 2017 because FIFA 18 had just come out. And when I heard about that, I was like, oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We won't even need breaks. We're going to be learning all this stuff that we're really going to need in life. Obviously not. But that's something I miss. Who remembers getting a pen license? My handwriting is so bad. I'll be honest, or it definitely was, because in primary school, were we the only ones who were taught to write joined up, like with lines in between the words? Like, how weird is that? We're not Charles Dickens. We're not writing like in ancient times. Why do we have to write all joined up like we're writing one massive letter? And it was so hard to get out of writing like that to writing normally. I don't know if we were the only school that did that, but how can you go from this to... And obviously I wasn't very good at it because I've not got good handwriting, or I didn't have good handwriting. So I would just never get my pen license because, look, hang on. I've got my snazzy new whiteboard that I got for Christmas. Right. This is how it'd be joined up. Like, let's just write. Right. Sorry, I saw my phone going off because every game is half an hour underway. That's me writing subscribe. I don't know if that's the right way round, but you can if that is the right way round, you can quite clearly say it says subscribe. Yeah. Let me write it joined up now. Wow, that's so weird. What on earth is that? Like, you can maybe make out one or two. And even if that is upside down, you could quite... In a while, you can see that does say subscribe. That would take a year. What on earth is that? And I also didn't over-exaggerate that. Subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, my notifications are off the chart. It's because what I did was I put everyone's snap score in a list and then said, do you want to see your... I put everyone's snap score in a list. Do you want to see yours? And everyone's coming back like, oh yeah, let's see mine. 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 What else did we have? Ah, who remembers when you do a Christmas play? Except in my school. Why does this happen every time? I get petrified that someone's just opened my door, but I'm home alone. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Right. Yeah. In our school, yeah, year 1, 2, and 3, we had Christmas plays. You know, as you do. You know, we were singing the what was it? What were we always singing? Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven bells are ringing. We'd always sing that. Yeah, except we wouldn't. I've just thought the first Christmas song that no one really sings now, but we claim to sing now when we talk about songs that we know. And then in year 4, you know, we decided Rome's Got Talent. It had nothing to do with Christmas. It had nothing to do with the nativity. It had nothing to do with anything we were learning in the curriculum. It was just I got a massive role. I got Decadus, which was a Roman version of Deck, as in Anton Deck. So I was the funny presenter. Blow your own trumpet. I've just realised I did a segment about me saying that someone was a paedophile because they love dodgeballs at people, and yeah, that happened. Yeah, and then in year 5 we did the Highwayman. Like, again, that was in our curriculum this time, but still, why? And then in year 6 we did this really weird Christmas play where my friend Alex goes back in time. Fun fact. Except he doesn't because it's a play. But that was weird. Also, I never got any big roles after year 4. Year 5 and 6, this new woman comes in. And she's married now. I feel bad if she ever watches this. But all of a sudden, I've been given... I had one... Okay, so at the end of year 6, to round off our entire primary school thing, I was there since... I was one of the people there who've been there the longest, and this isn't a flex, but I went to that school's nursery, which not many people did, and I started it as young as I could because parents. And then I think I started it when I was like 1 or 2. So that's... and I left when I was 11, obviously. So that's like 9 or 10. Guess how many lines I got in the sorry. Guess how many words I had in the last... So we did the Tempest, the Shakespeare one, which I think it's Shakespeare. Yeah, it is. How many lines do you reckon I had? Yeah? Okay, I'll give you a clue. Was it A, 3, B, 16, C, 4, or D, 1? Have you said your answer out loud? Yeah, it was D, 1. I had one line, and it was 6 words, which dashed upon the raging rocks. Why? I had some big boy parts in all of the parts up to year five, and now all of a sudden, you no good play part. You go say which dashed upon the raging rocks. Also, the Highwayman, sick play. I had two lines, which was, I haven't got a daughter. I just told you I haven't got one. That's 11. So that's five more words. Big ups to me. Um, I was the landlord. Fun fact: my cousin actually played the landlord after me in the year after because they do the same play every year. Because why not? I don't know if they still do now. I'd love to go back to my old primary school, and not in a weird way. Before you clip that out with the balls bit and put that back in. Oh God, I'm crying. I am. Ay, 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 ay. Right. I know. Can you see that? Can you see my tears? Yes, you probably can. Right, that's nice. Oh my God. Um, but yeah, that annoyed me. But also, I have some old DVDs of my year one and year two Christmas play. So if you guys wanna look back and see that, then go ahead, go ahead. Put it in the comments. Send me a message. Call me Carson. Let's go on to that one, shall we? Um, will you give me no? Because it's in the wash. Ha. Call me Carson. Oh. This was a big story in the past week. So, in case you've been living under a rock or are not interested in YouTube, apart from you're just interested in me, of course. Hang on. My hair's long enough that I can now flip it. Although this might go today, by the way. This may go today. My mum keeps saying how she needs to cut my hair. And I said, it's giving Brentford luck. Don't cut it before the Spurs game. Rip. Um, Oh no, Brentford have played two games. You remember right at the beginning of the podcast I said Brentford played once because of COVID. We played twice. We played Spurs and we played Borough. I'd have much preferred to have won the other one and lost the other one, but we move. Um, but yeah, and then I was like, no, mum. Um, ever since we've, ever since you cut my hair, we haven't lost a game, which I think it's true. I could have just made that up on the spot, but I kept it and we lost. So obviously the hair didn't mean anything. Also, Liverpool have probably embarked on one of their worst run of fixtures ever since I've had this hair. So maybe cutting it is a good thing. Maybe they're footballers who know nothing about me and it's my hair and there is no correlation between the two. That one would make more sense. Probably. Uh, uh, uh. Um. So yeah, call me Carson, popular YouTube YouTuber, Twitch streamer. Do you know how I said earlier about the fact that I might need to just get rid of all the stuff in my nose? Yeah, I just did that. Um. Twitch streamer, over 3 million subs on YouTube. Call Me Carson was sexting an underage girl. Which sounds absolutely terrible. And that that is inexcusable, of course. And all this. How can he do this, do that? If that is true, then he is finished as a person. And also, that is true. So there you must be. And I'm not sticking up for him in any way. I think he did bad. He needs to come out and apologize, and then we can move on. But he at the time she was 17, and again that sounds bad, but he was 19, and I mean that obviously, sexting an underage girl is bad, and it's not good. And great work, Daniel. And it's something that can cancel a career, but that's a 2 year difference. She literally is of age in under 12 months, and he is over age by at least 12 months. They would literally be one, it's legal in his state. Two, they would literally be in the same year at school because it's like sixth form, but it's like whatever theirs is in America. And yeah, that's that's what makes it a bit weird. And I love Carson. Carson's one of my favorite ever YouTubers, and his videos are the funniest on the tube of recent. And it's just sad. I have him on a t-shirt. His face is on a t-shirt. I am wearing a child groomer's face on a t-shirt, and people are unsubscribing. I'm not doing that because, as I said, Carson's one of my favorite YouTubers. I'm not gonna unsubscribe or do anything because honestly, it has nothing to do with me. And I know I should care more than I do, but at this point in time, I do not. It has got absolutely nothing to do with me. I see him worse as a person, of course, but I don't see him as bad as a person that I unfollow, send hate. I can make jokes because I almost just put my middle finger up then. I can make jokes because realistically, he'll probably never know who I am, and even if he does, um, it will be long gone, and everyone else is making jokes, and it's 17 and 19. Like, come on, everybody. Okay, right. That is my thoughts on the drama. I am just justifying, just justifying why it's okay, just so I don't have to say that that shirt was a waste of money, because I don't know if I'm even going to be able to wear it anymore. Um, not good. Not good. By the way, in no way was I sticking up for him. By the way, I am not accusing what he's done. I'm not unaccusing him, saying he is innocent. I'm saying he's completely guilty. But the media are twisting this to make it seem worse than what it actually is. And you, Keemstar, yeah, you're making it worse than it is. Mhm, 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 mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Mm, mm. Gnome, like a gnome. What does that even mean? Right, back to things we all did in the school of the primary. Um. Okay. I remember books that had no words in them, and you'd have to describe what was happening in the books with your words. And this was to the less less smart kids. They'd read books with no words. Like the Biff. Do you remember Biff Kip Chip Kipper? Biff Chip Kipper. I think that was their name. Do you remember them? They weren't released. They released many books with no words in them, which is fine if you're in nursery or if you're in. There were people reading these in like year 2 and 3. How can you not know how to read in year 2 and 3? You are 8 years old. You are 8 years old. Of course, if you have learning difficulties, that is completely acceptable. If you are a normal person and you cannot read at 8 years old, I feel like I'm just going at everyone in this podcast. I feel really bad. I'm sorry. If you couldn't read at 8, no offense. No offense to you. I'm going to stop being so mean. I'm going to stop being so mean and rude, everybody. Um, who one? All I'm saying is, I would love to have a cheese and tomato pinwheel again. I would die. or I would sell my soul just so I could have another of my primary school cheese and tomato pinwheels because they absolutely banged. If if you never had a pinwheel, yeah, or if your school's never sold pinwheels, they were these like pizzas, but they were in the shape of like a croissant, not a croissant. What's um one of those patissiers, and they were so nice, and it would just be like a calzone pizza, but like it was in a wheel, and it would taste so nice, and it wasn't crunchy, it wasn't flaky, it was just doughy, and it was so nice because the pizza and the cheese would melt, and it would make pizza, and so you'd literally be eating pizza surrounded by pizza surrounded by pizza. It was so sick. I have to say, everyone always despised, or whenever I talk to anyone, they were like, who went to a different school, they were always like, "Oh, the the food is bad," and the food in my primary school is so much bad. The food in my primary school was so much bad. Yes, yes, sir. That is exactly the phrase. Um, But my primary school food was better than my secondary school food. My primary school food was really, really nice. And I would always love my primary school food. And there'd always be a timetable. So you always knew if you wanted to have option one, option two, and option three was a jacket potato. How can you not go wrong with a jacket potato? And they did tuna. They did tuna. They did beans. They did cheese. But obviously, um, you could never go wrong with a jacket potato. Their Christmas dinners were always sick. They'd always give you a nice pudding, and putting your tray away only took a minute. And then you've got your hour break. You've got an hour break. And you've only been eating for like 15 minutes of this really nice food. And you can go out and go on your break. And this makes it sound like I went to a posh primary school. I didn't. I really didn't. Um, but the food was just nice. Oh, you could have a packed lunch, obviously, and I did have a packed lunch a couple of times. Um, but honestly, school dinners were nice. Um, I don't know why everyone else's weren't, but mine were super cool. And they do themed days, like they do American days, and they do like hot dogs and like sizzling stuff on it, and it would be so sick. It was so nice. Everyone always disrespects the primary school meals, but I absolutely loved them. Um the what's it called? The book fairs where you had to like collect tokens and then read a book, and then you could go into this book fair in the library and pick out one of those books that aren't made in like 1947. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd always have in a library, you'd always have this one nice, and it's in our school library now. You'd always have this one sick section of books that aren't from the 1940s. Then the rest are just like, oh, Tercero Continente, and it was all about cats, and it was stuff like that, and it was like, why have we got this much of good books, and why have we got bucket loads of like the cat that ate flies? Why do they exist? Yeah, and why does the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, like why are there only 5 of them on a shelf, and why are there 8 billion of the day the frog learnt about making tax laws? Like when was that a thing? There's a DPD van outside my house. I hope that's not for me because I might. Does he not know I'm on a podcast? Also, I don't even know what DPD is. I expect it's a van company. It's gone. Um, but yeah, I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, book fair, and then they'd all of a sudden everything would be yellow. But one day you could dress up as a book character. I dressed up as Mr. Gum, if you remember that. Obviously, if you remember the books, Mr. Gum. I just remember listening to Mr. Gum every night, on an audiobook read by Kate Winslet from the Titanic. Um, and he's big now. Wow, I remember these books. I haven't thought of these in years. Here, who read that as a child? Because I did, and they were so sick. You're a bad man, Mr. Gum. I dressed like that. Yep, I wore a ginger beard and stuff, and I won the dressing up prize. And honestly, I could have won the Halloween thing if it wasn't for Mr. Cleghorn. Also, my costume was so dead. I've cared less and less about dressing up in a costume. Like, I remember, but next year Halloween, I'm going to make the sickest costume, and I'm going to wear it everywhere, and it's going to be so sick. Right. Let's talk about most common names I've never met a person by. Now, this is a weird one, but I'm going to go through the top names over the last 100 years, male and female, and I'm going to go through, have I ever met anyone with people I haven't met anyone with this name for? So in first place, we've got a James. Oh, James. Have I met a James? Yes, I have. First for a woman is a Mary. I genuinely think I have never met a Mary. Have you met a Mary? Me personally, apart from the one in the manger, you know, I've never, and obviously I never met her personally. I'll be honest, I wasn't kicking around in 0 AD, watching her give birth on a prehistoric episode of Call the Midwife. So yeah, I've never met a Mary or a Patricia. I've met a John, considering that's the name of my stepdad, and I've met a Robert or a Rob. That's the name of my granddad. I've never met a Jennifer. Jennifer Aniston is the from Friends again. Oh, finally, I know both of number 4. Number 4 is a Michael. Pretty standard. And I've got an auntie Linda, so Linda is number 4. Elizabeth, I've met an Elizabeth, and I've met a William or a Will. I've met a David. Have I met a Barbara? I think I've heard of a Barbara. I think my dad's got a friend called Barbara, but I haven't met them / remember meeting them in a nice way. I've met a Richard. No, I haven't met a Richard. I've never met a Richard. Or a Dick. Dick, short for Richard. I'm not. Look how sick I am at juggling. Prompto. Have I met a Susan? Yes, I have met a Susan. Or a Susie, I guess. That works too. I've met a Joseph or a Joe. Very annoying. A Jessica. Have I met a Jessica? I feel like I haven't met Jessica off the top of my head. Yes, I have. Never mind, I have. A Thomas. Met a Thomas. Sarah. I don't think I've ever met a Sarah that I know. I probably have met someone called Sarah. Like probably my mum's got a friend called Sarah, I reckon, somewhere. Or she works with someone called Sarah. Or I have an aunt who somehow is like a 7th aunt, never crossed, called Sarah. But none that I know. Then we got Charles or Charlie, yes, of course. And then Nancy, who is the Donnie off Stranger Things. Have I met a Nancy? Oh, and Karen's there. I am the 12th most common name or British name in the world. How cool is that? Daniel is the 12th most common name, which means I am more common than Matthew, Anthony, Donald, Mark, Paul, Stephen, Andrew, Kenneth, Joshua, Kevin, Brian, George, Edward, Ronald, Timothy, Jason, Jeffrey, Ryan, Jacob, Gary, Nicholas, Eric, Jonathan, Stephen again. What is that with a P and a yeah, that one's with a PH. Samuel. Wow, that's weird. Samuel clocks in at 42nd. I'd expected that to have been a lot higher. Hey, we've passed the hour mark. Well done, everybody. We've gone through the hour mark talking about people's names. You know, as you do. This honestly so strong of a podcast. Right. We've got about half an hour left. I think we've got perfect time to go through my team of the year. Now, I put out on my story like a couple of days ago if anyone had any improvements on my team of the year. Everyone said Danny Ings. Everyone said Falabi. Everyone said who did they say? Let's actually get this up. I'll give you a little bit of archive. Let's go back into the danielpyke.jpg archive. Here it is. Emil Heskey, Falabi. But in goal, I ended up going with Manuel Neuer. Now, I could have gone for Alisson. I think, one, that would have been a bit biased. And two, he's been injured for a lot of the year. So, with that in mind, I did go for Manuel Neuer. Won the Champions League, won the league, won the treble, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, that's why. I think he is the captain. I think a Champions League winning captain should definitely be going into a team of the year, especially if they've won a treble and looked good doing it. And then at left back, I put Alfonso Davies. Now, I was very tempted to go to Robertson, joint most assists in the Premier League from. I think that is an achievement in itself in 2020. But in the end, I went for Fonzie. I went for Alfonso Davies. A great breakout year for him. Set the Champions League alight and ended Ruben Semedo's career. He dropped him so fast that he had to move to his home country, Wolverhampton. And then next to him, I have put Sergio Ramos, arguably the best centre back in the world. I'd say second over who I'm going to put in next. But Sergio Ramos won the La Liga, captained the team, and he scored a lot of goals this year. Most of them were from the penalty spot, like someone else who I didn't include in this team. But yeah, that's my justification for Ramos. And then I have got the best centre back in the world, I think, Virgil van Dijk. He made a mistake against Arsenal, and then everyone started talking about it like he's just, had one of the worst seasons ever. But the fact that people talk so much about one mistake shows how good they are as a player, and that's why Virgil van Dijk is making this one his first Premier League. Yes, and then at right back, we've got the Scouser in our team. That is indeed Trent Alexander-Arnold. As I just said, won the Premier League, got a bunch of assists from right back. Who else would make this team? I'll be honest. Kimmich is his only competition in the best right back in the world, and he's in as a midfielder. So that completes my actual one left back, two centre backs, and one right back defence, which I didn't think I was going to do. I was just picking the four best defenders, and it came out as a left back, centre back, right back. So go me, Baffa-Timby. I didn't even. Completely off topic. How good is Richard Osman's House of Games, by the way? I've been binge watching it this past week. It's so chilled back, intellectual. It's just sick, and the questions aren't overly hard. The questions aren't overly easy. It's just kick back. It's just chill. It's just good telly. I'll let you know of any of the scores as they go in. By the way, we've got Crawley and Leeds. We've got Chelsea and Morecambe, stuff like that. And then we've got in my midfield. The first one I put, which was probably the most debatable one, is Heung-min Son, and then obviously scored the POGcast award, has been awesome all season for Spurs, especially alongside Harry Kane, who is registered as an attacker in this year actually. Yeah, so he's been sick all year. He's absolutely lit up the Premier League since the new 2020-2021 season has started. People are saying that he should be swapped out, but I reckon he'd be. I wouldn't budge him. And then next to him, we have got a Champions League winner and someone who's going to be winning the Champions League and the Premier League next season, or this season, and it is Thiago Alcantara. Yeah, Thiago's been my team. Man of the match in the Champions League final. You know, it's not for everyone. He's just so sick. I know it was Aston Villa's under 9s or something, but he was so sick against them, and he absolutely changed the game. And I just cannot wait for him to be playing consistently and making it so that we actually have squad depth. And then in Cam, okay, I had to do it. Yeah, the best Premier League Cam of the last year, undoubtedly for Manchester City. It's Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, I didn't include Fernandez. I like Fernandez. I really do. And I think the hate he gets is completely undeserved. It's just because he plays for United. But also, you know, I don't think he's better than De Bruyne. Mansfield Town have scored against Cheltenham Town, everybody. I wonder if Elias Chatsatheodorodis is playing. He isn't. Does he even still play for them? That's what I want to know. Kevin Long is on the bench, everybody. Former Brentford, former Everton. Let's look up Ilias Chatsatheodorodis. He actually plays for Panathinaikos now. See, that's where you're wrong. When did he leave Cheltenham? I just know he played for Cheltenham at some point. He went on a loan there back in 2018 from Brentford. Fun fact of the day, Elias Chatsatheodorodis. Also, Nico Yanaris has changed his name to Leki. And he's now a Chinese international. Just for any of the Brentford fans out there, Leki is Nico Yanaris now. Or Likey, or Like. His name is now Like. But yeah, I put De Bruyne in. Tagged most assists in 2020 with Andy Robertson. He is so good. He is just absolutely out of this world. He could have got the most, or I think he did get most assists in a Premier League season. I want to say he joined it with Thierry Henry, but I cannot exactly remember. I think my parents just got home. But yeah, no Fernandez in this team, no Kimmich, no Bayern players, although technically Thiago got it for Bayern. And a completely Premier League midfield, which is quite cool. And then the front three, we have Erling Braut Haaland. That was my Erling Haaland. That video where he's in the 100 emoji jumper. He's singing with a spatula in his hand. I put him in my team of the year. Yeah, the spatula wearing 100 emoji guy. He's just out of this world. Literally, he is a subhuman robot. He's been so sick this year. He is just so clinical. I think he's got 25 goals in 25 Bundesliga games since joining. Anyone who does that is so sick. The fact that he's done that at 20 as well is even better. So yeah, Haaland is in my team alongside his fellow Bundesliga compatriot. The winner of the FIFA Men's Best Player Award is Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski. Yeah, I put Lewandowski in my team undoubtedly. You know, he's been sick all year for Bayern in the Bundesliga. He's been sick all year for Bayern in the DFB Pokal, and he's been sick for Bayern all year in the Champions League. If you're having your best season at 32 years old, yeah, you are a monster. Yeah, and that is why he is undoubtedly in this team. And then my final spot, Messi, no. Ronaldo, no. Mbappe, no. Neymar, no. Uh, Danny Ings, no. Horselu, no. Mane, no. I went with Salah. I personally think that Salah is a better player and had a better season than Sadio Mane, or a better year of Sadio Mane than last year, despite what everyone thinks. I think everyone hates Salah for some reason, and everyone prefers Mane because he's nicer, or he doesn't dive as much, or ooh, we started hating Liverpool, but we can't seem like we really hate Liverpool, so we're going to like one player because, he hasn't really done anything wrong. That's Sadio Mane. So, yeah, I put Salah in. He had an amazing 2020 and he started the new season even better. I know it was Aston Villa, but still, still Aston Villa. So from the top, everybody, we've got Neuer, we got Trent, we got Virgil, we got Sergio Ramos, we got Davies, we got Son, we got De Bruyne, we got Thiago, we got Erling Haaland, we got Lewandowski, and we got Mohamed Salah. 12th man, Lionel Messi. Or Danny Ings. Or Hosselu. I still can't believe Muller wasn't even nominated, because Muller would probably go in my team. That is the sad part. Probably not Gnabry, but Muller would definitely go in my team. The last... No, not the last thing. Let's take a look at... I want to talk about the Liverpool game against Aston Villa, because I've touched on it a couple of times now, but I haven't actually spoke about what happened. So if you weren't if you were not watching it, basically Aston Villa had to shut their training ground due to the amount of COVID cases they're having. Their entire first team squad had to self-isolate. Dean Smith, their manager, had to self-isolate. And they were playing Liverpool in the FA Cup third round the day after. So they postponed the event. But I don't think Liverpool were very happy about this, because a similar situation happened last year when Liverpool was scheduled to have 2 games in 2 days in 2 different countries. So they had to put out a completely under-23 team and under-21 team to play Aston Villa in the Cup last year. And we've got Aston Villa in the Cup this year, who are now having to play their under-21s and under-23. So the game went ahead. And Liverpool scored early. Who was it? It was Sadio Mane, and we were cruising, but we were so sluggish in the penalty area, just like we have been in the past. 3 games ever since the 7-0 game? It's like we used up all our goals in that game. So we then equalised. Louis Barry, the former Barcelona man, now for Aston Villa, scored. And it's 1-1 at the break. Thiago comes on, as I mentioned earlier, completely turns the game around. Wijnaldum makes it 2-1 after a Minamino assist. Man City have just scored against Birmingham, everybody. And then Mane gets his second, and then Salah gets the fourth. Xherdan Shaqiri looked absolutely amazing. Thiago looked absolutely amazing. Minamino, I don't know. I don't know about Taki. He looked like he was having a great run of form, and then I don't know. He didn't play bad, but he didn't play amazing against Aston Villa's under-23. So I don't know what you have to say about that. But then again, no one played absolutely scintillating. I think Milner, James Milner played really well. And obviously Thiago and Shaqiri ever since coming on. So yeah, we did win that one 4-1. Louis Barry swapped shirts with Fabinho and then got told that he should keep his actual shirt from the from his game where he scored against Liverpool. So he ran all the way down the tunnel to ask Fabinho for his shirt back, and then obviously took it off him and then went back. But that was not good enough from Liverpool. I know we won 4-1, but it wasn't good enough. And funnily enough, I called for my dinner 2 minutes before we scored our second goal, and then we scored 3 goals in 4 minutes. So I was watching it until 1-1, and then 5 minutes later, the 5 minutes after I leave, it's now 4-1, which is confusing. Now, I want to talk about the top 5 goalkeepers in the world right now. Morecambe have just scored against Chelsea. Okay, ow, score correction, 0-0, damn it. Ow, I just rolled over my own toe on my chair. Oh, my baby toe. Ouch. That really hurt. Anyway, back to reality. Whoops, there goes gravity. Best goalkeepers in the world right now. I'm going to do my top 5 because why not? Right. So let's go through some of the contenders. We've got Jan Oblak, who is a sensational keeper, played so well against Liverpool in both the legs. He will definitely be in my top 5. Then we've got Manuel Neuer, the guy who I put in the team of the year, Champions League winner. He's great. We've got Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Barcelona. He keeps them in most of their games. He keeps them in most of their games at the moment. Thibaut Courtois, inconsistent, but when he's on his game, he's on his game. Alisson, injured a lot, but he keeps Liverpool and he makes some massive saves from time to time. And, anyone is better than Adrian. Edison, he's good, but he's error prone. And then Hugo Laurice is good, but he can't kick a ball. And then Jan Sommer. De Gea. Not sure. Okay, so in 5th place, I am going to go for Hugo Laurice, the Spurs captain. He's been at Spurs for 9 years, and he is just so good whenever he plays. I'll be honest. He may have conceded against Brentford, but that does not matter because it got disallowed because he is falling, considering he was falling to the ground. That leg was offside. So, say what you say. But he's in 5th place for me. In 4th place, I'm going to go for Courtois. Courtois is going to go in 2nd, 4th for me. I did say he was inconsistent, but he was so good last year in the La Liga. I think he got Player of the Month once. I think he kept the most clean sheets. I want to say that. I know nothing about La Liga. I'm making all of this up on the top of my head because I put absolutely no research into this episode. I wanted to see. I did one where I put a bunch of research in and had so much to cover, hence the 1 minute and 40. And I've done one where I'm trying to wing it and see if my own brain power enough knows if you can, which obviously, judging by the amount of viewers compared to last week, shows that I do not. In 3rd place, I am going to put my boy Alisson Becker. It's just came out that he almost signed for Real Madrid instead of Courtois back in 2019. So I don't know who we would have signed. Probably either kept with Karius or maybe gone for someone like Jan Sommer, maybe. It wouldn't have been too bad, really. But yeah, Alisson, Liverpool goalkeeper. He won the Champions League. He's won the Premier League now. He won the Club World Cup. He won the Super Cup. Except he didn't. No, he didn't play in that. It was Adrian who played in that. Fun fact. But obviously, you probably already know that. But yeah, in second place, I am going to put. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to put Manuel Neuer in second place, the Bayern Munich keeper. He was between 2013, 14, 15, 16, best goalkeeper in the world. 17, 18, 19, it was De Gea. Or maybe not 19. 19, 20, I would say it was between Oblak and Alisson. And then this year it has been far and away Mr. Manuel Neuer. What did I just say? I've just said that it's been far and away him, and then I've put him in second. I meant he was there between 15 and 16 and 17 and 14. Yeah, that was his years. Yeah, and everyone was like, "Oh, maybe he's fallen off." You hyped him up too much. You were talking too much of him. Man City have just made it 2-0, by the way. I don't know why they were saying that back in the day when, Man City weren't even playing. But, it was just from the future. It's me from the future. I'm talking to you from the future. Chelsea have just scored against Morecambe. But you'll only find that out when Chelsea next play Morecambe on 13:48 on the 10th of January 2021. The world is in a pandemic. Mason Mount. Anyway, in first place, I have put Jan Oblak. Highest rated goalkeeper on FIFA 21 means nothing. But I do believe it means something in this case because I think he is the best goalkeeper in the world. Him and some of the saves he makes and some of the reflexes and the intelligence that he has of his positioning is just second to none. It's so good. And that's why he takes my first spot. It's the fact that he barely even played for Slovenia because of Handanovic until a while. And that's just crazy in my opinion. I reckon he should move from Atletico Madrid. I reckon he can move to a better club. I reckon he could easily go to a Barcelona or a PSG and be anyone's starting keeper in the world. But yeah, for now he's at Atletico Madrid and he is the best goalkeeper in the world in my opinion. I don't know why I keep going into harmonies this podcast. Okay, so the last topic that we are going to do is I'm going to bring up the Premier League Player of the Month nominees. Give me a second. Right, I have not voted yet. I have seen the nominees, but I can't really remember them. Okay, here we go. We have got. It's not telling me what they've done, but okay, we've got Anwar El Ghazi. Now, ever since he was slated by some of his own fans, he's been so good. This month, he's got. Okay, so in the month of December, he has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. No, 5 games. He scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. So 5 games and 5 goals in game from the winger, who has barely been scoring before that, apart from a couple of times in the cup. He is in very strong contention of winning this award. Bruno Fernandez, he's won it 50% of the time since joining, and it's been another great month for him. I think he scored a bit less. I think he scored a bit more outside of the pitch goals rather than penalty goals. Okay, so let's see. So he's got 1 assist, 2 assists and 2 goals. 3 assists and 3 goals. 4 assists and 3 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So that's a goal contribution a game. So it's like Anwar El Ghazi, but he's also played more games and scored more. And assisted more, sorry. He scored less, assisted more. How many of his goals were from the penalty spot? So he scored 3 and 1, 2. 2 of them were from, one of them. So that's a 33% penalty compared to his thing. That's a very good month for him. Emiliano Martinez, Aston Villa goalkeeper. Let's see how many clean sheets he has got. So since the 1st of January, he made a bunch of saves versus Chelsea. Yeah, he made 4 saves against Chelsea. Against Aston Villa, he made 6 saves and kept a clean sheet. Against West Brom, he kept a clean sheet and made 1 save, but he kept a clean sheet. And then against Burnley, he made 4 saves and kept a clean sheet. Against Wolves, he was man of the match. He made 7 saves and kept a clean sheet. Run of patterns here. So he kept a clean sheet in all bar one of his games this month, which was against Chelsea, where he made 4 other saves. That is very impressive. Then we have got Ben Mee, Burnley centre back. That is an odd one. I did not expect him to be nominated, but I don't know. Maybe he's had a good month. Maybe he's passed my eye. He scored 1 goal. He kept 2, 3. He kept 3 clean sheets and scored a goal from centre back. That's very impressive. And then we've got the beans. What? I said beans. Marcus Rashford, who has scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in 6 games. In 4, 5, 6 games. 4 goals in 6 games. I don't think Rashford will get it. I'll be honest. I'm not going to vote for Rashford. He's the only one that I've looked at and said, right, I don't think he is a contender compared to the rest. Same, I reckon I'd say would. But I forgot Okay, Salah, 1 goal, 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 goals, 2 assists, 5 goals and 2 assists in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, 7 goal contributions. That's the first person who's got more than 1 goal contribution per game. And then we got Thomas Souček, who's had a terrific month with his Greek. Sorry, no, what's it called? Czech salad or whatever, Caesar salad. Or he's got 1, 2, 3 goals from CDM in 6 games. So, and he scored against Everton on January 1st. So, and he's also kept one clean sheet. So Souček is definitely in the running. And of course, the resurgence of John Stones. It's been talked about so much how well he's been playing recently. And I think he is also well up for this award. He kept a clean sheet against Newcastle, against Southampton, against United, against Fulham. And he played above a 7 in all of those games. So for me, I think the 3 main candidates are John Stones, Mohamed Salah, Emiliano Martinez, and Anwar El Ghazi. Those are my 4, and I'm going to eliminate El Ghazi. I'm going to eliminate John Stones. So it is between Martinez and Salah, and I am going to go for Emiliano Martinez. I love Salah, but I am going to go for Emiliano Martinez. I need to verify that I'm not a robot. That's a hill. There we go. I am not a robot. Indeed, your vote has been confirmed. He'd be a boring player of the month, I'll tell you that. But Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa is my Premier League player of the month. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we end this stream, I need help. Does anybody know this really sharp pain in your, like you've got a stitch, but you get it for half an hour, and it hurts if you're not laying on it? It is annoying me. I don't know. It just starts happening during the day, like at random times. Like it happened to me before I was going to go to bed last night, and that was the second time it happened in one day, which hasn't happened before. It's just weird, and it's annoying me. I don't know if it's got anything to do with my eating. I don't know if I have lung disease. That's what's scaring me. I really hope I don't have lung disease. I don't know how I get lung disease. Please, anyone who knows anything about the situation, anyone who has knowledge of how to fix it, please just let me know. Send me a text. Tell me what you think it could be. But until then, thank you for watching the second episode of the Daniel Pyke POGcast here on the Daniel Pyke YouTube channel. I've sent out flyers. I've sent out invitations to celebrities if they want to get on the podcast. No one has responded yet. But it doesn't matter because you've got me, you've got my luscious wet hair that has now turned dry because I've been doing it for an hour and a half. Thank you for watching this podcast, and because it means a lot to not have 0 viewers at the top there. So thank you for watching the podcast. I'll see you next week or on Friday. Goodbye.